Señores de Combo, tenemos al buen Simon Pegg with us. How are you?
I'm really well, man. Nice to see you.
También tenemos al señor Henry Cavill. How are you, Henry?
I'm very well. How are you?
Again? Mission Impossible, like, it's impossible to kill Tom Cruise, right?
Well, you'd think. I mean, he's certainly trying. Yeah, it's fantastic to be back.
Mission. Should you choose to accept it, I wonder, did you ever choose not to?
You start doing these special films with zombies and with these kind of things, and now you are part of a big franchise.
Yeah.
How different it is? How do you feel to be part of the big leagues and that kind of the big budgets?
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, the difference between low-budget filmmaking and this kind of film isn't massive. You know, you're still in a film crew, there's the director and the cameraman and the camera person and the DP. You know, the sets get bigger and the catering gets better and the locations get more exotic. But it is a real pleasure to be part of something like this. You know, this is a huge event film. And I've been part of this story for 12 years now, so it's kind of, you know, I'm never not grateful for it.
The end you always feared is coming.
How to be fresh in this kind of movies, in this kind of stories when you have a big franchise like this?
Yes, it's a big challenge, and this is I'm coming back for the second time, which is another challenge because every Mission Impossible is directed by a different director, and I agreed to come back with the understanding that I would come back as a different director. The movie had to look different, had to feel different, and all of those things are very challenging when it's your first time around. Your second time around, it's even more so.
There cannot be peace without first a great suffering. The greater the suffering, the greater the peace.
Do you have any more action than that usual that you have been in the other movies?
I had to learn to scuba dive, to drive a twin-engine speedboat. I had some fairly nasty combat to learn. A little bit of weapons play. You know, it's always. I know I'm always going to learn something new on these films. When everyone comes up, it's like, okay, I'm going to go around the world somewhere. In this case, Paris and New Zealand. I'm going to learn some new skills. In this case, you know, speedboat driving and...
This is the CIA's mission. If he had held on to the plutonium, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
The biggest change was I wanted to delve deeper into Ethan's character. The other 5 films, Ethan tends to be somewhat enigmatic, and he's a little bit hard to know. People think they know him, and you never quite find out until the end what's going on. I wanted to let you know right from the first frame what was going on inside his head.
The end you've always feared is coming. It's coming. And the blood will be on your hands.
And you're the representation of the geek power in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
In every single movie, in this case too, right?
Yeah. Well, Benji is the kind of tech wizard, and I think he's the ordinary guy. You know, for the audience, he's the person they can really relate to because he's not a superhero. He's just a regular guy who has found himself in this incredible situation, and so for the audience, he's kind of easy to relate to, I think.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
Another thing that it's interesting about these movies is the villain. You have to build a villain enough big to have a challenge for the star. What are we going to watch in this film?
He's more challenged than he's ever been, I can promise you.
It's Henry Cavill the villain, or no? Or...
Henry Cavill is definitely one of the antagonists in the story. He and Ethan do not get along, and they're two characters each who does not approve of the other one's methods, and that creates tension throughout the story, which ultimately comes to a head.
This is a new thing for you, be the villain of the story.
I wouldn't say villain. August Walker he's more of a gray area kind of guy. His intentions are always for the best of humanity. He wants humanity to do incredibly well. But he's willing to do anything to achieve that. And so his antagonism with Ethan Hunt is extreme because August Walker will happily go into a room with a bad guy in the middle of the room and a whole bunch of innocent people around him, and he'll kill everyone just to kill the bad guy. Where Ethan Hunt will go through a very complex and intricate series of plans to make sure that just the bad guy either gets captured and very unlikely killed, but just captured.
You don't understand what you're involved in.
You need to walk away.
Please don't make me go through you.
And how is the process to pick the best cast for you? Which one it's going to be in this movie and which one you don't want to the next one? And
Yeah, it's all sort of a sense of feel. I had Vanessa Kirby, for example. I had met her 2 years before I cast her in this movie. I'd been introduced to her and thought she was absolutely fantastic. We brought her on not really knowing what the character was. And again, finding just the right tone for her to play created this really special character.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
And the rest of the cast, how is the chemistry between you? Because you have new characters that came to the franchise.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And you know, it's lovely to be back so soon, really. It's only 3 years ago we shot Rogue Nation, and so to be back again together to see Rebecca and Tom and Ving and Henry, having new people like Henry, and having Sean Harris back, who's the villain again, who's brilliant. It's nice. It's like a reunion, you know.
Working with Tom Cruise is amazing. It's really, really good fun. That level of upping the ante every time and going more and more extreme is exciting because he's never doing the same thing as yesterday. He's never doing the same thing as the last movie.
The thing that Tom Cruise doing his films, that he's doing his own stunts, for you it's like inspiration, or you don't care about it? Because I think maybe some actors like I want to do it too, like he do the
I'm happy with him doing all that stuff, you know. I mean, that's become the thing about these movies, is that it's Tom that's doing the big crazy stunts. And although we do our own stunts too, I'm happy for him to do the more dangerous things.
His team would be dead.
Yes, they would. That's the job.
What are in your mind when you watch Tom Cruise doing that stones and it's like,
Yeah, you sort of grit your teeth and cross your fingers and hope it all turns out okay.
what is the most dangerous thing that you did in this movie?
Drive in a car with him, you know. Although having said that, he's an incredibly good driver. He's very safe. He's very safety conscious. You know, it's not. I never feel unsafe around him. But yeah, being in the back of a Range Rover going down a slope about this steep was kind of fun.
Most extreme thing I would say is probably, there's a few extreme things. Probably the helicopter sequence for me is the most extreme, just because in most stunts you have, there's a certain safety net there. There's a certain degree of safety implemented by the stunt and by the machinery used, which if that goes wrong, then yes, it can go very badly wrong, but typically it won't ever go wrong. And so it's just down to you, and if anything goes wrong, you may get injured a little bit, and if it's a really bad day, you may get seriously injured. But with the helicopter sequence, that's all down to skill.
That's what I want.
Well, you always start the movie looking for one, and we lost count on this movie. There are so many crazy things in this movie. Some of them we had to cut out of the movie.
Simon, thank you very much.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you again. Henry, thank you very much.
Thank
nice
you very
to see
much.
You again.
Accept it, Ethan. You've lost this one. What's done is done. What's done is done when we say it's done.